So, Bezrat Hashem, in today's class, we're going to try to learn about Hafrashat Halla. How much flour do you need to form a dough and to be able to take a piece which we call Hafrashat Halla? So let's see. Let's go back all the way in times of Chachamim. In times of our sages, grams, kilos, pound, all those measures did not exist. What really existed at the time of our sages is different type of measures which the Torah, right, and the Gemara and the Chachamim give us. The measures were the following. There was what's called ephah. Then there was what's called se'ah. Then we have kav. Then we have log, and then we have betzah. So basically, those are the measures that the Torah gives us when we bring a sacrifice and we have to bring a certain amount of dough, right? And then this is for the solids, and for the liquids, we have in, we have log, we use the log, we have in, right? So different measures. Now, we have to understand also the weights, right, used after that, they were also different. There was what's called the dirham. The dirham was a coin that was used in the time of the Maimonides, right? Which a lot of Ashkenazim say they never saw a dirham, they don't know what it is, and they never counted it. So today, we're going to learn about Hafrashat Halla and how do we come to the right measure, and then we understand two different opinions in the Shulchan Aruch and in decisionaries. So let's start. Using the Torah measures, ephah, se'ah, kav, log, betzah, which is called the acronym Askelav, Aleph, Samech, Kuf, Lamed, Bet, Askelav. Now, the Chachamim teach us, in ephah, there is 3 measures of se'ah. And in se'ah, there is 6 measures, right, of kav. And in kav, there is 4 measures of log. And in log, there is 6 eggs. 6 eggs in log. 4 log in a kav. 6 kav in a se'ah. 3 se'ah in a ephah. So now, one thing can give us already an idea of what are we talking about. Is the egg, betzah. What is the size of a betzah? Chachamim, the Gemara tell us, in the time of Chachamim, maybe today is slightly different, in each egg, you would find 2 olives. So how much is an olive, right? So Chachamim tell us, an olive would weigh 9 dirham. So basically an egg would be 18 dirham. And what's the dirham? How do you figure dirham? So let's calculate something else before and come back to the dirham. Having those measures, knowing that there is 6 eggs in a log, and there's 4 log in a kav, and there is 6 kav in a se'ah, and 3 se'ah in a ephah, let's see how much is the ephah. One thing the Torah says, when they used to get the man, each one would get a sirita ephah, 10th of the size of an ephah. Once I figure how many eggs is there in an ephah, I will take a 10th of it and have more or less an idea what are we talking about. So let's do the following thing. How many eggs is there in ephah? Simply times 6 times 4 times 6 times 3, right? If you times those, right, that will give you, right, that will give you the size of eggs, right? How many eggs go into ephah, right? Now, take the number of eggs in an ephah, and out of it, you would take a 10th, right? So let's calculate it the following way. 6 times 4 is 24. Times 6, right, is 144. 144 times 3, right? That will give us 432. 432 eggs in one ephah. But I need only 10th. So I'll take 43 eggs, right? 43 eggs 0.2, but let's round it off, 43 eggs. What's the size of an egg? So let's look something. Everything in the Torah has to have a meaning. Even Hafrashat Challah, when we call it Challah, why is it called Hafrashat Challah? Basically, you're baking bread. Challah is for Shabbat. But why could we call it Hafrashat Challah? What's Challah? Look, if you write the word Challah, Chet, Lamed, and He, and you calculate what's the valorical number of this word. Chet in valorical number is 8. Lamed in valorical number is 30. He in valorical number is 5. 8 plus 30 plus 5, that's exactly 43. That's why it's called Challah. Because Challah is going to be the measure of 43 eggs, which are going to give us the size of the dough that we do Hafrashat Challah. So basically, we use Challah for the bread of Shabbat because we don't want to call it bread. We want to make Shabbat different from the rest of the week. We don't say hi, hello on Shabbat. We say Shabbat Shalom, right? We dress differently Shabbat. We pray differently Shabbat. So also the bread of Shabbat is not going to be called bread, it's going to be called Challah because of the size that you prepare Challah. Usually people do not prepare Challah or bread during the week. Some will do, but on a general rule, people will prepare more the Challah for Shabbat. So therefore it got the name of Challah because of the 43 eggs it contains to give us the size of Hafrashat Challah. Now, let's do something interesting. Chachamim tell us that an olive measures 27 grams. That's because an olive, right, has an olive over here has 9 dirhams in it. If we take the coin at the time of Maimonides, which is called the dirham, and we weigh it, it will give you 2.9 grams. In an olive, there is 9 dirhams, which will give us 2.9, right? Which is almost 3, times 9, that's 27 grams. An olive is 27 grams. An egg has 2 olives. That will give us 54 grams. So each egg measures 54 grams. Coming back to our challah, the dough, right, has to have 43 eggs. So we'll take 54 grams, which is the size of an egg, times 43. That will give us, right, 54 times 43, 2 kilo, 322 kilograms. That's the size, right, of a dough. So basically, we're talking about 2 kilo 300. The Ben Ish Chai writes, when a woman wants to make Hafrashat Challah, she would need 2 kilo 0.4, right? 2 kilo 0.4 grams of flour. And then be able to do Hafrashat Challah, right? Now, the Ben Ish Chai does not speak about grams because the Ben Ish Chai also used to count dirhams. So the Ben Ish Chai says what we need for Hafrashat Challah is 777 dirham. 777 dirham, which is equal to 2.322 grams in our times, in grams. Okay? Comes Rav Ovadia Yosef and he says, no. All you need is a kilo 500.08. A kilo 508 grams. A little bit, a drop more than a kilo and a half. It's a huge difference. It's almost a kilo of a difference between the Ben Ish Chai and Rav Ovadia Yosef. How do you explain it? Rabbi Mordechai Eliyahu, Zecher Tzedek Yosh Bracha, also said he followed the Ben Ish Chai. 2.3 kilos of flour in order to do Hafrashat Challah. Ashkenazim, they do 2.3 kilos in order to do Hafrashat Challah. So, what are we supposed to follow exactly? Let's explain. The Maimonides, which gave us the measure of dirham, The Maimonides also gave us a lot of measures. He gave us the efa, se'ah, kav, log, betza, se'ora. He gave us a lot of measures. The Maimonides write in Pirush HaMishnayot on Masechet Eduyot that when he measured the flour in a bowl, right, to give us the size of a challah, the tenth of a efa, he saw something interesting. He saw that when in the same bowl you would put water, right? You put water, and in the same bowl you would put flour, you would find that there is a third, 30% less of flour than water. Water is more dense. Dense means it's compacted. So therefore, it will give you more, 30% more than the volume of flour. And that's the difference between solid and liquid. The truth is, it's a Gemara. The Gemara says that there's two Pesukim. One Pasuk says that the basin built by Melech Shlomo was 30 bat, and one says 10. And the Gemara says there's a difference of 30% over there, right? 20 bat and 30, sorry. So the Gemara says the 30% is, it depends how you measure it. Do you measure it with solid, right, or liquid, flour or water? Okay. Now let's take back the calculation and see that everybody is right. The Ben Ish Chai, when he said 2.322, because this is the size of an egg. An egg is 43 grams times 54 grams times 43 eggs. That's exactly the size. But an egg is liquid. When you break an egg, it's water, it's liquid. Therefore, says the Rav Ovadia Yosef, according to the Maimonides, according to the Rambam, we'll have to deduct from that 30%, because that's the difference between an egg, which is a liquid, and flour, like the Maimonides himself said. And therefore, if I take 2.4 or 2.3 kilos minus a third, that will give us exactly 1,508 grams for Hafrashat Challah. Now you understand? Each one calculated differently. Those who said it's 2.4 kilo because they calculate the size of eggs in a efa, which is 43 eggs times 54 grams. The ones who said 1,600, the 1,500 and a little bit 0.8 grams is Rav Ovadia Yosef. He calculated the 30% less, because we're measuring flour, not eggs, right, which are liquid. Therefore, this is the difference between the two. Today's modern kitchens, ladies use cups, a measure called a cup. A cup varies. It can be 120 grams, it can be 130 grams, depending on the type of a flour that you use. Let's give example. 1 cup of all-purpose flour, right, will give you a cup, will measure 120 grams, right? That will give you for Hafrashat Challah, if you want to follow Rav Ovadia Yosef, 12.5 cups of flour, and to be able to do Hafrashat Challah. If you do spelt flour, that will give you 120 grams in a cup. And in order to have the Hafrashat Challah, you would need again 12.5 cups. So for all-purpose flour and for spelt flour, you need 12.5 cups in order to be able to do Hafrashat Challah. If you take whole wheat flour, which is more dense, right, which is more compact, you'll get 130 grams per cup, and that will give you 11 2/3 of a cup, almost 12 cups. It's 12, let's round it off to 12 cups. 12 cups will be all-purpose flour if you want to do Hafrashat Challah. If you take bread flour, right, which is 127 grams per cup, that will give you again 11 7/8. Let's round it off. 12 cups, right, to do Hafrashat Challah. So I repeat, all-purpose flour and spelt flour need 12.5 cups to do Hafrashat Challah. If you take all wheat flour And bread flour, all you need is 12 cups to make Hafrashat Challah. So this is the Sephardi system according to Rav Ovadia Yosef. If you follow the Ben Ish Chai, if you're Ashkenaz and you follow the Ashkenaz poskim, the Ashkenaz decisionaries, yes, the measures are different. It's 2.322, 2.4 kilos, right? Which is almost a kilo more for Hafrashat Challah. So now you know at least where the difference came from, and it's not that one is right, one is wrong. It's two different systems how to calculate. Aseh lecha Rav, make yourself a rabbi and follow his opinion. All the best. Chazakim u'bruchim.